It's your move, George. Yeah, I mean, I'll do a song later. But still, it's your move.
I was 12 years old. I found a four-leaf clover, and I brought it in to press it in a book so I could preserve it. That happened to be For Whom the Bell Tolls. Still the great American novel, and I started reading, and I couldn't stop until I finished.
Hey everybody, Jeff here, and it's July 21st. Welcome back to my channel. Good to have you folks back here. I got my coffee this morning. It's going to be one of those really hot days in Las Vegas today. I think today and tomorrow we got some kind of heat warning. Might go up to 120 degrees. I know that sounds crazy to you folks back east, but I think you're going through some of it too. Hey, so for right now, let's get on to them birthdays.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Probably the biggest birthday today goes out to Ernest Hemingway, and we kicked off with a little bit of that. For Whom the Bell Tolls. John McCain was talking about that. The Old Man in the Sea is another one. Ernest Hemingway was born in 1899, a 19th century man. Don Knott.
The stamp machine in the post office, that just frosted me.
That bothered you, did it?
Yes, it did. I don't think it's right for the United States government to be transacting business through a slot machine.
One of the funniest guys I ever saw growing up, born in 1924. You'll know him from the Andy Griffith Show. Some of the entertainers today, let's see. We got Cat Stevens. Cat Stevens had lots of hits like Peace Train, I'm Being Followed by a Moon, a Shadow. Remember that one? And Another Saturday Night, and I Ain't Got Nobody. Anyway, I remember Cat Stevens getting into trouble one time when he came in the United States. He got held back because I think he turned into Islam or Muslim kind of deal, and I don't know what happened with that, but anyway, I heard he got into some weird situation at the airport, and I really never looked that up. Maybe it's just a rumor. Hey, if you find out anything about that, let me know. Put it down in the comments. And while I'm thinking about it, if you will, please subscribe. Click a like if you like this kind of content, and make sure you also click the notification bell, because I'm uploading a lot more stuff now, and I'd like for you guys to be included in it. Somebody else that was born this day, sadly, because he died, committed suicide, Robin Williams. He was born in 1951. He died in 2014. Great shows, Mork and Mindy, you know. I watched all of Mork and Mindy. Dead Poet Society, wonderful movie. Good Will Hunting is probably one of my favorites that he did, but well known for being just a fabulous comedian and always bringing a lot of joy to a lot of people. But biggest musician of all time, born in 1955. I'm talking Taco.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
Putting on the Ritz. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, Taco. So I don't know. I found that, and so I thought that was kind of cool. The biggest historical event that I could find for today was the first Battle of Bull Run, and that was a pretty big one. One of the biggest ones of the Civil War. It actually kicked off the Civil War, the first big battle of the Civil War, and I looked up some information on it, and I'll read it to you here. On July 21st, 1861, in the first major land battle of the Civil War, a large Union force under General Irvin McDowell is routed by a Confederate army under General Pierre G.T. Beauregard. What a name, huh? Anyway, basically what happened here, the Union thought they were going to go down and say, man, we're just going to clean house here. We're going to get this whole Civil War thing. I don't even think they called it that then. But we're going to get this whole skirmish thing over with really quickly. And we're going to show these rebels down there that, you know, they ain't got much of a chance. Well, it didn't end up that way. 3 months after the Civil War erupted at Fort Sumter, if you're a history buff, you know that, Union military command still believed that the Confederacy could be crushed quickly and with little loss of life. Oh boy, were they wrong about that. In July, this overconfidence led to a premature offensive into Northern Virginia by General McDowell. Searching out the Confederate forces, McDowell led 34,000 troops. That's a lot of troops. Mostly inexperienced and poorly trained militiamen toward the railroad junction of Manassas in Virginia, my home state. Virginia. How's it going, Virginia? It's good to see you out there. Located just 30 miles from Washington, D.C., alerted to the Union advance, General Beauregard massed some 20,000 troops there and was soon joined by General Joseph Johnston, who brought 9,000 more troops. So there you go, 29,000 troops up against 34,000 troops. But still, you got to figure the Union was probably better organized because really it was the U.S. Army, right? And this is the funniest part. On the morning of July 21st, hearing of the proximity of the two opposing forces, hundreds of civilians, men, women, and children turned out to watch the first major battle of the Civil War. God, come on. So here you are, you got nothing better to do, and it's like, hey, I hear there's a battle going on over here. So you gather all your picnic supplies and your chairs, your lawn chairs, and like going to a football game or something. I don't know if they had those collapsible ones or not. And you go out to watch this little skirmish. They really thought this would be over in a matter of a few minutes, an hour tops, maybe a good lunch break, And they would see some action. The Confederates would back down. The war would end. There would be no war. The boys would go home. They'd take their guns back and go back to squirrel hunting. It didn't turn out that way. I don't know if any of these people who showed up to that battle just to watch it were hurt. If you know that, leave it in the comments and let me know. The fighting commenced with 3 Union divisions crossing the Bull Run Stream, and the Confederate flank was driven back to Henry House Hill. Oh, okay. However, at the strategic location, Beauregard had fashioned a strong defensive line anchored by a brigade of Virginia infantrymen under General Thomas J. Jackson. Firing from a concealed slope, Jackson's men repulsed a series of Federal charges, winning Jackson his famous nickname, Stonewall. Stonewall Jackson. And again, if you're from Virginia like I am, you know that name. Meanwhile, Confederate cavalry under J.E.B. Stuart, there's a famous name from the war, captured the Union artillery, and Beauregard ordered a counterattack on the exposed Union right flank. The rebels came charging down the hill, yelling furiously, and McDowell's line was broken, forcing his troops in a hasty retreat across Bull Run. The retreat soon became an unorganized flight, and supplies littered the road back to Washington. Union forces endured a loss of 3,000 men killed, wounded, or missing in action, while the Confederates suffered 2,000. Basically, he went crawling back to Washington with his tail tucked under. The scale of this bloodshed horrified not only the frightened spectators who were enjoying their sandwiches, I guess, I don't know, at Bull Run, but also the U.S. government in Washington, which was faced with an uncertain military strategy of quelling the Southern insurrection. That was today's history back July 21st, 1861. I missed. Anyway, that's what happened back then. But let's get on to a song today. This song has a little bit of history. It's called For Love, and I wrote this for a friend of mine, Dawn Dickens, years and years ago. I don't know if Dawn will ever see this video or remember. She was a good friend, and she had just lost someone in her life, of the love of her life or something, and she needed a friend's shoulder to cry on, that type of thing, or lean on, and I was that friend during the time, and I ended up writing this song for her. I went in and recorded this studio. I think it was a place called Master Sound Studio back in Virginia, or Virginia Beach. Maybe they were located in Virginia Beach. And a good friend of mine, Greg Sadler, whom has to, right now is playing in Reno, in the Reno area in Nevada, which I think is kind of cool. That a good friend of mine from back in Virginia is also living in Nevada. Greg Sadler has his own band here, or plays in a band now in the Reno area, and every now and then he comes into the Las Vegas area. But Greg brought his keyboard in to the house, and the keyboard had like 8 tracks on it, and he recorded all the parts, even the drum section, little drum section to it. I will leave a link to the actual song down at the bottom here so that you can go listen to it. It's on SoundCloud. I've not done a video for this one, so you're just going to have to go and listen to Greg's work, because every bit of that, all the music that you hear, was Greg Sadler. He was a bass man and a keyboardist, and the guy was just one of the most talented people I've ever had the pleasure to work with. And Greg, thank you very much for helping me out with this song. This song, unlike most of my other songs, doesn't have all white keys. And that's why I guess Greg was interested in it. Greg's a lot more talented than I am. But anyway, it's in the key of D. At least it is now for me. I don't know what I sang it back then. I remember going into Master Sound and I had a head cold, and I still was able to crank it out. But back in those days, if you had a studio appointment, you didn't miss that, because you didn't know when you could get back in the studio. And you know, I wanted to record a song. I went in and did it. But it goes something like this. Let's see. My friend, if you need a helping hand, I'll be there. I'll be there if you need someone. My hand, I'll always be there when you fall so hard. The world comes down upon you, so hard upon you, when you near the end, and you need a friend. I recall there was a time when we were young. Oh. And dreams that bloom so well, so well in the backyards of our minds. But I can tell that you have waited way too long, oh so long. I sing my song for you, and see the blue of color in your eyes, well faded by your cries for love. And that's pretty much it. The song just repeats and changes the words a little bit, and I haven't done it probably in ages. I even screwed up the words a little bit there. But I want you to go and check it out on my SoundCloud page, and let me know what you think.
You better think about what you're saying. You better think about the consequences of your action. You better think.
This morning. Irish toast. Oh boy. Anyway, let's see. How about this one? Here's to a sweetheart, a bottle, and a friend. The first, the being beautiful. The second, full. And the last, ever faithful. Have a good day.